Are you wondering where the bank-owned foreclosure market is going? Is there a bubble coming? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, my name is Brian Modansky of the Modansky Homes team of Keller Williams Realty, Charleston, West Ashley, your local Charleston real estate expert. So let's get into the numbers. I typically find in most situations in business that you can break things down if you take a deep dive into the numbers. So there's three major factors that come into play when looking at where we are in the bank-owned foreclosure REO market. The first is seriously delinquent loans. So over the last couple months since coronavirus began, those numbers have started to increase pretty heavily. So we actually look at the numbers from March. We were at 554,000. April was 547,000. By May, they creeped up to 691,000. June, they creeped up even further to 748,000. And then by July, it was 1,738,000 mortgages in seriously delinquent status, an increase of 320% over a 5-month time period. The second number that I always look at is foreclosure starts. Now in March, there was 27,100. April, 27,800. By May, those numbers dropped dramatically. And a lot of that can be due to basically the court systems being shut down across most of the country. In May, those numbers were all the way down to 8,600. In June, they were 4,400, and in July, they were 4,800. So delinquencies are soaring at an astronomical rate, but the foreclosure starts have plummeted nearly 84%. And the situation is creating a bubble of great proportions. I wouldn't go far as to say epic proportions. We went through an epic situation in 2008 with the last financial crisis. I don't think this is going to be as large or as in depth as that one, because that was a crisis of mortgages, and this is a crisis of due to the pandemic, due to the virus. So I think there's different factors involved, but do I see an increase in foreclosures? We're going to get to that, but yes, I do. The third number that I factor in when looking at where foreclosures are going are foreclosure completions. That's basically the lis pendens is when a foreclosure is started, and a foreclosure completion is when the property's made it through the court system and has made it through the master and equity sales at the courthouse steps and has now become a foreclosure. In March, those numbers were at 15,000, and they did decrease all the way through June and July. They were 9,100 in April, 2,800 in May, 2,600 in June, and 2,500 in July. So let's just say that 15,000 is your typical average month of foreclosures. There were fewer than 6,000 in April, and there were fewer than 12,000 in May, June, and July. So that's nearly 30,000 REOs that are just stuck in the process just over those 5 months. Now, you also look at the final number that I factor in. It's total number of REO sales. So in March, there was 15,100. In April, there was 11,000. May, there was 8,300. June 7,600, and July 5,000. So to put it simply, the RE inventory is selling off and it's just not being replaced. The properties are basically either stuck in the foreclosure process or on hold, and this is not even taking into account any of the loans that are in forbearance that are, essentially not getting paid on. Basically, these are just the ones that have gone delinquent. Assuming that the number of foreclosures remain current at their current levels, and the backlog continues all the way into the next 18 months, you're talking about a backlog of about 145,000 bank-owned foreclosures and REOs across the country, which I think actually is on the light side. I think it could be even higher. I think we could be seeing numbers over 200,000. So there is a surge of foreclosures coming. When you take into account what's going on with the coronavirus, what it's done to the court system, basically putting everything at a halt. And even though many municipalities have opened up, the the flow of properties from a foreclosure start to a foreclosure finalization, it's moving at a snail's pace. It's going to take months to get that ramped up again. There's just too many moving parts between the banks, between the attorneys involved, between the county, between requirements of having to post the property on a public record. There's just a lot that has to get going to get the flow of properties moving again. So, when we talk about when will we start to see these properties hit the market, my best guess is probably as the first quarter ends next year, going into the second quarter. I think March, April, May is when you're going to start to see those foreclosure numbers start to skyrocket in most markets across the country, with certain areas being hit harder. So, if you want to discuss, getting into the foreclosure markets and investing in properties, feel free to give me a call directly at 843-628-8910, or you can email me at team@modanskyhomes.com. And don't forget, I publish a new video every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified when my new videos post. And don't forget to like this video as well. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day.